Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Overcoming the Wednesday Hump. For those of you who are new to these videos, they are designed to do just that, to help you to overcome that midweek Wednesday feeling when you're halfway through the week, your motivation levels are starting to dip, and you're asking yourself, how am I going to get through this week? These videos are designed to lift you back up and to give you that motivation and that drive to keep moving forward in the direction towards your goals and your dreams for the future. Now, for those of you who are new to these videos, welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoy the content that you're listening to, and please feel free to comment below what videos you're enjoying and what you'd like me to talk about. For those of you who are regular viewers, thank you for coming back. I'm really pleased to know that you are enjoying the content, and again, please feel free to share any suggestions of videos and I'll do my best to try to make them. Now, in this week's episode of Overcoming the Wednesday Hump, I want to talk about motivation versus commitment. Now, this is so important because you see, motivation gets you started, but it's commitment that keeps you going. And oftentimes as humans, we are emotional creatures. We like to feel motivated. We like to feel excited. But the reality is, even if you're madly passionate about something, there will be days when you don't feel motivated. There'll be days when you don't feel like doing the work that's needed to be done. You don't even feel like maybe getting out of bed. You just want to lay back and watch Netflix. And it's in these days that you have to persevere and push past that emotion of lethargy, push past that lack of excitement. And what helps you to be able to do that is the commitment that you've made. That even though I don't feel like doing this, even though I'm not as enthusiastic and motivated about it today, I'm going to do this because I've made a commitment. And so I want to encourage you to think about areas in your life where you want to see more progression. I want you to think about how committed you are to that thing. Because if you're saying you want to reach a certain goal, but you're not making a full commitment towards it, you are definitely going to impair your ability, or at least the speed of your progress in relation to achieving that goal. Now, in today's video, I want to share some practical tips, some practical advice with you about how you can be as committed as possible. But ultimately, even with these tips, they're not going to work unless this is something you really care about and you're willing to be committed to. Because if you're doing something to please somebody else, or because somebody's imposing, their expectations on you, then you're going to struggle to be committed, because there needs to be something inside of you that believes in what you're doing, that is passionate about it, that cares about it, or at least you need to be able to see some level of value in that thing so that you can be willing to be committed, because it is not easy to be committed, and life will chuck 1,000,001 excuses at you as to why you shouldn't do the thing that you need to do in order to get to where you want to get to. So anyway, let's get stuck into these different principles and these different tips that I'm going to share with you in relation to how you can be driven by commitment rather than just motivation, though motivation does have its place of importance. Now, the first thing I want to say is I want to encourage you to choose to be committed. That may sound really simple, but the reality is you have to initially make that choice. That this is a project I'm working on, this is a goal that I have, and as I define this goal, as I think about this goal, as I make this goal, I also want to make the decision and the choice that I am going to commit to achieving this. And that's important. That is the foundation of all of this, because if you don't make that decision to be committed, then all of the things I'm going to share with you, you're not really going to gain much value from them, because initially you have to decide in your heart and in your mind that you want to be committed to whatever it is that you're working on at the moment. The second thing I want to encourage you to do is have a clear vision, or a clear why, a clear understanding as to why it is that you want to be committed to this thing and what exactly it is that you want to achieve. Because it's in those days when you don't feel like showing up, or you don't feel like doing the thing that you need to do. If you can remind yourself of your vision, if you can remind yourself of why it is that you're even doing this in the first place, it helps you to be committed, because it refreshes you, it reminds you that there is purpose in this. I have an objective that I'm working towards. And even though that can sound really simple, it's actually quite a powerful exercise, because sometimes, we get so wrapped up in the mundanity of life that we forget why we're even doing what we're doing. So being able to remind yourself of this on a daily basis, remind yourself of the overall objective, the overall goal, what exactly it is that you're working towards, that helps you to choose to be committed in your everyday life. The third thing I want to say is we just need to cut out the excuses. You know, life will give you 1,000,001 reasons as to why you shouldn't do something. So I'll use myself as an example, something I often talk about, which is the gym, because I love going to the gym. There are days when I don't feel like going to the gym. If the weather's bad outside, I could use the excuse that, oh, it's raining, or oh, it's snowing, or it's really, really cold outside. Or I could use the excuse that I just feel really tired, or use the excuse that, oh, you know, I'm only going to be able to spend 20 minutes in the gym because of X, Y, and Z, and is it really worth the journey? You know, there are so many excuses that you can think of, literally, and some excuses people come up with are super creative, but you have to almost have a zero tolerance attitude that I'm not going to make excuses. I'm going to show up, even if it's just for 10 minutes. I'm going to write that book, even if it's just for 10 minutes, because the principle of you choosing to do it, even when you're feeling resistance, even when you don't feel like doing it, you choosing to apply yourself is very powerful, because you're then developing a habit of consistency. You're developing a habit of pushing through those negative emotions, which means if they come again in the future, you're better able to overcome them and to stay committed and consistent, because you've already experienced that emotion before and worked through it. And this is important because if you have 1 week of going 100%, but then the following week you're only going 5% and you're fluctuating with your levels of commitment, it is going to impede your progress. But if you can choose to be consistent day in and day out, overall, you will achieve much more, or you'll progress towards your goal much faster, even if you're not going at 100% every week, because consistency is what it's all about. We have to be people of consistency. The next point I want to make is I want to encourage you that emotions follow action. And this is a really powerful principle, because when you learn that and you just get stuck in with something, you realize that your motivation levels can start to increase again. So to give you an example, again, using the gym, on the days when I don't feel like going, but I push past and I go anyway, I always have a great time. I've never been to the gym and regretted having gone. You know, I always feel better for it. And in the same way, when we're procrastinating or putting off tasks, even though starting them can feel initially a little bit stressful, by the time you've gotten through that initial resistance and you're just doing it, you kind of flow with it. And afterwards, you're so grateful that you just got stuck in and you did something. So I want to encourage you, emotions follow action. Do not be led by your emotions, but rather lead by your principles, lead by your values, and let your emotions catch up. Another tip I want to give you is I want to encourage you to invest in an accountability partner. Reach out to a friend, ask somebody if they can be accountable to you. Because when you've got somebody that's holding you accountable, it puts a healthy level of pressure on you to stick by your commitment or to stick by your goal. And I know for me personally, I don't want to let my accountability partner down, because I feel like by them agreeing to be my accountability partner, they're investing time and effort into me, and I respect that. And so because I respect that, that helps me to be consistent or to show up more when I might have otherwise kind of not been as proactive or not been as committed. The final thing I want to encourage you to do is I want to encourage you to make a public declaration. Now, the extent to which you do this is totally up to you. You could literally go on a stage and share with the audience that, you know, you're committed to doing something, or it could just be a group of 3 friends that you share that this is what I want to do. When you make that public declaration and you know you've told people that, again, it puts a pressure on you. And I want you guys to have the healthy pressure. I don't want you to do this if you don't feel ready to do this and you're going to feel distraught and ashamed if you don't stick by what you say you're going to do. But if you can handle, you know, the size of the crowd or the people that you share or make this public declaration to, I encourage you to do it. So again, to use a simple example, some days I will literally say on my Instagram story, I'm determined to go to the gym today. And because mentally I feel like I've kind of made a public declaration, it helps me to stick by what I said I was going to do and to show up at that gym. So that is my encouragement for you this week. This video was all about commitment versus motivation, because in life your motivation levels will go up and down, and so you cannot depend on the emotion of motivation in order to get you to where you need to get to. You have to choose to make a commitment. And so I really hope that you feel encouraged to do that. If you're enjoying the content of my channel, please do like these videos, it really helps me, and please do subscribe to my channel. Again, if there are any suggestions for new videos, please suggest them in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of week. Bye for now.